wonder if maybe we can transition to sharing a little bit about our coaching styles and our just like how if people are really resonating with us, how because we are three very different coaches and we serve very different populations. And so let's just kind of share a little bit about what's our style and how can people, if they want to work with us, how will they know it's time for them to work with us?
Ooh, good
That's a good
question.
one. Let's go first. Oh, that was a good question. I'm like,
Hmm.
man.
How's
I
it?
can go first.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I mean, I feel mine is very straightforward. I feel like, most of the women that come see me are really the women that are just have tried all of the healing modalities, are kind of like at the end of their healing journey in terms of like, they've tried everything, they feel like they've learned everything, they feel like they've got all of the tools, they don't need any more tools, they have got everything, but yet something is still missing. Like they still feel like they're not getting the full relief that they're looking for, even though maybe the other things have helped. I feel like that's the kind of women that I work with, the women who are all talked out, who need something more, because we don't do any talking in our sessions. I mean, there's like a little bit of back and forth, of course, but like we don't go into any narrative. I don't teach you tools. We're just really working on that like deep level of like nervous system work. So if you're ready to like come into your body and do that deep level of work without talking about anything, if you're like, I don't need advice, I already know the things, don't tell me what to do,
Yeah.
then that's kind of the service that I provide, right?
Can
Like,
I add something on there for you too, just because I've done a session
sure,
with you already?
sure.
Y'all, I'm just gonna say it. When you're working with Tati, you are learning how to build a deeper relationship with your body. And I don't think people talk about that enough. Like, it is so important for you to build that deep relationship where you get to connect. It's not just stillness where you're like, okay, no, you really do connect by the guide that she gives you, right? Like how to really tune in to certain parts of your body that's going to feel different sensations, what that feels like to you. You're allowing yourself to actually communicate with your body, to learn your body's love language, to learn your body's way of reaching out to you. I know a lot of people don't talk about the nervous system in that way, but that is how I felt it, right? In my session where I was like, wow, like I got to learn how to talk to my body and not just like my heart or my mind. It was literally from my feet to my thighs to my lower back to my stomach, my back, like my fingertips. Like it was this crazy sensations where you also allow yourself to feel because you're connecting in such a deep way. But that relationship piece is so good, and Tati is your guide. So like you are doing something in your sessions, you are legit a guide that's allowing us to feel in, because think about it, y'all. In your day to day, when do we really connect with our body like that? We're on a constant rush, but that allows you to slow down, to feel the sensations, to not overthink it, but to allow your body to literally communicate with you. And it's such a beautiful experience to be like, wow, my body is legit talking to me at all times
Mhm.
of the day. And all I need to do is just slow down to feel that, to hear her, and to honor her with whatever it is that she's asking of me. So I kind of wanted
Mhm.
to add on there because I'm like, she
Oh,
does more
thank
than that.
you.
So I
I
need to do
know.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. I
I love
really do
that.
appreciate that. I kind of feel like in a way we're really decoding what your nervous system is telling us,
Mm.
right? Like we're really just decoding because all of everything that, you experience in your body is telling me something different. And so like yeah, I'm tracking everything that your body is telling me, and then I'm helping you track, right? So I'm helping you understand where your nervous system is at. And so if you're like, I need more, I'm at the end, I feel like there's something else that's missing, that's definitely my expertise.
I
100%.
love that. So unlike Dati, who's you're at the end, I'm actually at the beginning. I feel like the people that are coming to me have somewhat of a knowledge of being healthy, but they just don't know how to start, where to put it and fit it into their lifestyle. And typically it's because they do need to slow down. So that's why they're at the beginning, because they don't know that that's what the problem is. And so you're more like have some knowledge, but you're looking for more, even more knowledge, and you're looking how to truly implement it in your life, because there's still some missing pieces, or something's holding you back, or you don't know how to juggle both, or you don't know how to juggle X, Y, and Z, and now you want to add one more other thing, and we're like, whoa, 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 hold on, let's figure out the rest first. So I'm a big, like, as these girls like to call me, a composer, a sympathy composer. So
Yeah,
I
she is, y'all.
I put the pieces together for you, or we put them together actually. Like, we work hand in hand, and we together come up with the bigger piece and the big puzzle of, like, this piece impacts you here. Your nutrition impacts you here. Your hormones impact you here. Your movement impacts you here. And it's a lot of information, but we start off with, like, how do we make room for that information? So we do touch toes into your nervous system, but more so, like, just acknowledging what that even is and how that truly affects everything else.
Mhm.
My hopes is that when they're done with me, they're so ready to go to Tati. But that's really where I stand, and I think for me it's so, like, valuable, because I didn't have that guide when I first started. It was more like jump in, and then I jumped into the pool and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just treading, right? And so for me it's so sacred to be able to hold someone's hand and just walk them through each phase of all these pieces that do affect our healthy lifestyle, and that truly it's sustainable. Like, it can be, and it doesn't have to feel like another job, because being healthy should be part of our life, but it shouldn't feel like another job. And that's my true mission there. So
Mm.
obviously I teach you all about the girl stuff too, but
Yes.
how do we manage all that, really, so that we don't get overwhelmed?
Nah,
Mhm.
literally, I feel like you nailed that description
Mhm.
so well, Lupe. And like
Mhm.
you guys, again, I'm gonna add on a little bit more because these ladies like love to humble themselves. But it's like, and I thought about Kendrick Lamar, with that. So sorry, let me go back, squirrel. Yeah, no, Lupe is just so freaking incredible, y'all. And something that she also didn't mention, because about the whole sustainability piece, is simplifying. Lupe
Mm-hmm.
legit simplifies your nutrition because I've worked with previous health coaches before, and sometimes they just bombard you with all this information on what you have to eat. And depending on which health coach you have or fitness coach, they're gonna give you recipes that they already created. And it's not even stuff that you like to eat. Where's the sazon? Where's everything? And Lupe literally meets you where you're at, wants to know like all of the things that you like. And then she gives you like the template, right? Like, hey, this is how a plate of food should look like. Let's break it down. What do you like to eat? Let's simplify it so you can have this be a normal routine. Again, sustainability and empowering you that food can look colorful and beautiful and represent you and be able to just put it all together. Because at the end of the day, if you're like me, y'all, that doesn't like to cook and we have to do it porque it's a necessity for us to live. Like Lupe will encourage you every step of the way to literally break it down to where you're at. So then you feel empowered to keep putting more and more and more as you are getting more comfortable with your journey. Like Lupe does that. She
Yeah.
Mhm.
simplifies, makes it easy for you. She
Yes.
orchestrates, puts everything together, but legit meets you on where you're at. So I think that's the beautiful part of Lupe because she does that
Mhm.
so well. And on top of that, she's just a great listener, y'all. So like,
That
Yes.
yes,
too. It's true.
Yes.
Lupe's
I
is
think
great.
because my skill set is being a great listener, I love
Mhm.
to listen to what you love. Like, it's
Yes.
my program is genuinely very personal.
Yeah.
And so the same thing for nutrition, as Edie said, I also do that for your movement. So, like, if you're missing movement, I'm not going to tell you to go to the gym 4 times a week. No.
Oh my gosh, no.
We're gonna start with, what do you feel comfortable with? What do you like to do? If it's just walking, shoot, you're walking. And you are going to tell me how much you want to walk. And now I'm
Mhm.
setting the standard for you to tell me what feels comfortable for you. And then we increase it. But we're never gonna start at, like, oh my God, this is what you have to do. And then, like, you're gonna fail. And I do not want my people to fail ever.
Yeah, no, you do not. I know that about you. Definitely
Mm-mm.
not. Oh, no, I love that. And then for me, y'all, I don't want to say that mine has a beginning or an end. I feel like surrendering happens in any time. And that's why I'm not going to put a timeline there. But for a lot of the clients that have come to me, it's literally the Latinas that are tired, are burnt out, that feel like they're not fulfilled in their life, that they have checked all the boxes of what society told them to do, how to live, make their parents proud, be the first to graduate in from college and get the big girl job and still feel like there's something missing. But they're tired of holding that control where they're trying to hold everything together. And be the one that's always strong and resilient and all the things. They're just tired. They're done with the control. They want to learn how to release it, but they don't know how.
Mm.
And that's when they come to me. They come to me and ask, how do I release these pieces of control in my life? I want to create a life that I love, and I don't know where to begin. I don't even know how to hear my intuition. I don't know if it's the outside noise. Like, how do I identify all these things? And a lot of what we do in my program, whether my clients know this or not, and a lot of them know already, but it's like you are constantly releasing the limiting beliefs, releasing
Mm.
the values that no longer align to you, releasing parents' expectations, releasing work expectations of what work should be like, and should you even continue on this path, redefining things, most importantly, of where do I really want my life to go? How do I truly want to show up? And that requires a lot of working on intentionality
Mhm.
and working a lot on being okay with giving ourselves permission to accept this new version that's awakening and wants to come out.
Mhm.
And my program is very personalized, as I'm going to go ahead and go in my teacher mode because I was in special education for 7 years, like over 7 years. And a lot of my work had to do a lot with personalizing my students' individualized like learning plans. And these plans were purposely individualized because you have to meet where each person is at in order for them to meet the goals that they truly want and then get the results that they want. And that's what I do in my coaching container. Like, I literally hear you out, and it's a place where you're going to be raw and vulnerable. I'm not going to lie. This is where you're going to come in and feel, because we do need to release. And then once you release and you let go and we identify things that we need to work on, that's where I create that plan for you, right? A simple plan, not a crazy plan. This is like, I call it like, me and my client call it the rhythm to flow plan, because like doing this harmony cycle, what works for you, because, and it's beautiful because she actually named that for herself, right? And that works for her, but maybe that's not what your thing is going to be called, right? Like, that's her thing. And she loves it because now she's like, in order for me to be in alignment with my life, I have to be aligned with my harmony cycle. And it's these
Mm.
pillars of what I want to focus on. And I think it's beautiful because that gives her empowerment to move forward, create the life that she wants, and not live her life in a to-do list or a checkbox. Like, she's finally flowing with how she wants her life to go. And that takes time, lots of patience, but that's why in our container, like, it's that place of being raw, feeling, being vulnerable, but also like celebrating our wins, because I believe in that so much. And a lot of my clients have not celebrated themselves enough. So my container also does that. And by
Mhm.
doing all that, it allows you to then trust life, trust the unknown, and embrace the power of surrender. Because when you're
Ooh.
allowing yourself to do that, then you're not afraid of the unknown anymore, or not as afraid, I should say. You embrace it more with like this warm hug, where you're like, I don't know where my life is going to go, but I'm going to trust myself because now I know what I really want, and I'm going to allow my life to flow in that way. I'm not going to be stuck with the outcomes. I'm not going to live by anybody's expectations but mine. And I think that's so empowering.
I
Yeah.
love that. That was so
Sign
good.
me
That was so
up.
good. I know, right? I feel like everyone needs an Edie's in their life and
Oh,
a Lupe,
1000%.
but
And a
I
Tati, what the
and
heck?
a
They
Tati,
need.
right? And all of us, just hire all of us. No. But no, like I feel like, hearing you talk, I'm just thinking about how you're really just kind of like weathering the storm, right? Or like what not weathering the storm. That's not actually what I yes and no, but I mean like you're in all of the seasons,
We're
the weather.
embracing all the seasons.
All of
Yeah.
the seas yeah, I'm, like, just thinking about, like, stormy weather, I'm thinking about sunshine and, like, celebrating wins, and, like, I feel like you're the kind of person who, like, holds people accountable, but you're also, like, the hype woman, and you're, like, celebrating people so hard, but then you're also holding the space for
Mhm.
them, and so, like, when I think about, like, the weather, I'm just kind of thinking, like, you're, like, holding all of the things, right? Like, all of the seasons.
I
Mhm.
love that. Yes, because at the end of the day, just like how I tell my clients, the seasons, the emotions that we feel coexist. They have to work together, light and dark, joy and sadness,
Mhm.
frustration and celebration. All of those things
Mhm.
come hand in hand. And when we embrace that life is not black or white, but that it coexists, that it's this like messy but beautiful life, it makes it easier for us to enjoy the journey.
I love
And
that.
and that's been a lot of my own experience. And when I experienced that very early on, even in my own healing journey, kind of like what you said, Lupe, I want more people to feel that way. And even though I'm still always learning, and let me tell you, being the joyful surrender coach definitely comes with its things because it's consistently testing me, but it's only doing that because it allows me to be a better coach for you, right? Resonating with what your journeys look like, but also allowing to see that life is messy, but it's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's our beautiful mess,
Mhm.
and we get to embrace all of it because we get to create something beautiful out of it.
I feel
I
like
love that.
Edie's can turn a frustrating situation into like a sunshine situation. And she's
Yes.
really good at that. And then what, because it's, we've said this before where everything is all about narrative. And so once you start changing the narrative on things and start seeing like the positivity out of things, you're like, okay, I can live with that. And you let go. And I think that's what Edie's is so good at. Because even when I'm frustrated or like something's wrong, like Edie's is that calm wave of like, well, what about if you saw it like this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
damn,
because
she's right.
And I feel like you're also just so good at validating.
Yes.
Like you're so good at reassuring people and like making them feel seen and heard. Like I feel like that's one of your superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you guys. I mean, my clients always mention that too. So I think that
Mhm.
definitely is a theme. And I'm so grateful to hear that. Because, like, I tell my clients all the time, like, if I don't do that, then I didn't do my job and you can slap my hand for it. And they just crack up every time. But it's like, that's what I want. Because I believe in that relationship piece in my business, right? Like, understanding more of my why. Like, I know that we can all live harmonious relationships, and that includes ourselves. And
Mhm.
like when we can do that for each other, it's even more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you guys mentioned that for me because it just makes it more validating as to me understanding my why more and more as I'm navigating this new season of my life. So yeah, you guys, thank you because that meant a lot for me. And plus too, like I don't want someone to think out there like, oh, she's being like, what's that term? Toxic
Oh, toxic
positivity. Like I
no.
promise you, I'm not that. I
No.
truly do believe
No.
because of the work that I did as a certified coach is that your frequency is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. And if your energy and the way you speak to yourself and the way that you feel in your body is low energy frequency, you're going to stay in that place. Versus
Mhm.
if we allow ourselves to reach that higher frequency and really start to learn how to believe that for ourselves, that makes a whole shift because then not only are you going to be more optimistic, but hopeful. You have more faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a difference in the journey when you walk with more faith and more optimism that the future, what it has in store for you, actually is going to be grand and amazing. And you should walk in expectancy that life is going to work out for you. I really believe in that. So thank you guys for validating me. That was
Yes, of
nice.
course. Can I also just share one more thing? I feel like I think what makes you and also all of us really great at what we do is that we've done our own work and we've been in our own healing journey. And I feel like that is really, really important. I think that is also probably one of my values when I think about hiring a coach. I think is like, are they projecting their own stuff onto me,
Yes,
right? And I feel
yes.
like because we've all done the work, we do a really great job of and like I think about that like two Edie's when you were talking, I'm like, you're so good at what you do because you've done the work. And I feel like your coach can really only show up at the level of their own nervous system, body, the level of their own healing, right? And I feel like it makes your capacity to hold your clients bigger, better. I don't know.
Always.
I'm not good with words. I always say
Yes,
this
you
like
are.
this is why I'm a somatic coach because
No
I
worries.
am not good with the words. Do not come to me if you want words of wisdom. Come to me if you want to move your body.
And body wisdom. It's body
Body,
Ooh,
wisdom.
yes,
It's
body
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 wisdom.
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 Yes,
Body
Yes.
yes.
wisdom.
But yeah, I think that's a really important quality to look for in coaches, right? Like, have they done their own
That is so
level of
good.
healing? Can I just say one last thing that I think is really important for us to share? If like people are listening to us, and I know like part of this is like to help you find a coach, and also I think if you resonate with one of us and want to hire us, I feel like it's also important to know like what kind of services we offer because
Mhm.
as I was hearing the both of you talk about like personalized plans and action plans, I think I was thinking like, oh, I don't do that, right? And I think feel like it's important
Mhm.
to just kind of share like what is your service? Do you have multiple services? Do you have one service? And what is included in your service?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Like for me, y'all, it's simple because I'm also like rebuilding my business as we go, but it is one-to-one coaching container. You do have access to me via voice note messaging, email messaging, and then we create a personalized plan. So what I mean by that is that every time we jump on a call and you're talking to me and we're brainstorming and we're kind of going through all that, I send you a notes of what we talked about, including that small action plan that you need to take place. And an action plan does not mean like you have 5 things to do. It could be 1 to 2 or 3 things max that you need to
Mhm.
focus on that week. So that way, when we come back in our next session, you can tell me what your progress is in that. And it does not mean you have to get everything done. This has to be done with your own flow where you're okay with understanding what your rhythm is and being the experimenter on top of that. Like, what if that didn't work for you? We got to get back to it to see, okay, what else can we do to then get you back into the rhythm of what really truly aligns with you? Because that's another thing too with my clients. Like, they don't know or haven't given themselves permission to experiment. They want to get it right because they're type A's. Like, and I understand that because that's me too. But it's the place to explore, to be curious, to be the scientist in your life, to say, like, okay, what can I redo? Because that's how we start redefining how we want to live. And that's very, very important. But I know I'm working on future things where it's like I am manifesting it and putting it out there where I would love to do a group coaching container because I do hear that from my clients all the time that they can see the benefit of that and being near women who are like minded and like hearted. But currently, right now, it's just one-to-one coaching sessions, and that's for 3 months. And we meet every week for at least 45 minutes. And that's kind of like the rundown of how we go with the flow with our sessions.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
mine is pretty similar. Also, it's for one-on-one coaching only, and we meet about an hour, and it's for 12 weeks. And it is personalized, but I do follow my flow framework. So what that puts us through is just different stages of how we're going to process all this information that I'm about to give you. And we start off with F, which is just framing your foundations. What brought you here? What's stopping you? Why is this hard? What's holding you back? Are you stressed? Why is that stressful? We manage that before we even add on anything. And then we go on to L, so we leverage your cycle and understand how it works with you and not against you. Because we all
Good.
know when we have our period, we are not doing anything, and that's okay.
Aw,
That is
I
Me
know.
right
okay.
now. Me right now.
And that's fine. But how do we leverage all the other weeks, right?
Yes.
And then we optimize your nutrition. So what's missing? And I never take away from your plate. I always add. How do we add more things? And then lastly, we end with how do you work it? Work it the best way you know how to work it, whether that's walking, running, weight training, biking, you name dancing, whatever
Yeah.
gets you moving, that's what we work on and we blow up and emphasize, all while still managing your schedule. Where does it fit in? Only adding tidbits that make it easy for you to balance and keep up with. Much like Edie's, I do assign homework. I like to call it homework because I just think it's fun. But 1 to 2, 3 things max. And how can you keep up with that for the week? And then if you're still unable to keep up with that, how do we continue that for the next week? And really, it's a add-on game, but adding on where it feels right for you. And if it doesn't feel right, what are we tweaking? And we're constantly tweaking because that's what life is.
Yes.
What if you change your job and now your work schedule is completely different? I want you to feel empowered enough to know that you know how to tweak your own health lifestyle based on like what's around you, because a lot of times healthy living is thought of as what's on my plate and what am I exercising with? And it's
Yes.
complete. I was trained and taught that that's actually your second plate. Your first plate is your job, your finances, the people around you, your relationships. Are you setting boundaries? Are you not going to the gym because you don't know how to say no to your friends? Oh, we're going to go deep into that one then. But that's why we set your foundations first. That's why we work in that.
Yeah.
But really, we just worked through that flow framework for 12 weeks and meet once a week for an hour.
I
Love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
That is so
Oh, and then I
good.
provide certain resources that they can read on the side as well.
I love that. That is so good. So,
Mhm.
so freaking good. What about you, Tati? That's your turn, girl.
So I have right now I have 2 services, but so I have my drop-in somatic experiencing sessions. Those are like private 90-minute somatic experiencing sessions. I also have my group coaching, which is actually closed, but there is a requirement to um, go in order to participate in the group coaching program. I need to have had worked with you on some level in the past. So that is currently closed, and we're only going to be opening that group coaching once a year. So really the only option to work with me directly is through my 90-minute somatic experiencing sessions. And these are no commitment sessions. So I don't have a container where we work with each other for a certain amount of time. We're really just, it's totally up to you on like what you want. So if you want one session and that's all you ever want, then that's totally fine. You don't have to continue working with me. If you want 5 sessions, great. It's really up to you. So there's no limit on how many sessions you can have. And again, they're 90-minute sessions, and we are working directly with your nervous system to help you move through survival responses, discharge survival energy and trauma. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yay.
So yeah, I think also, what I really love about my 90-minute somatic experiencing sessions is that I think sometimes we feel like maybe we have busy schedules and maybe we feel like, oh no, like I have to commit to something. And if you're like that, if you have a really busy schedule, you feel like a little hesitant about committing, I feel like that, like the drop-ins work for you because, yeah, you don't have to, you can drop in whenever you want.
And I promise with one session, you're like, where has this been all my life?
Yeah.
Literally. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, it's so good, y'all. Like, you don't understand. It's so, so good. But if you want to increase that body wisdom, build a relationship with your body, it's gonna be so good. And sorry, y'all, if you heard my dog in the background just shaking, that was her. That was Spirit. She wants to make her presence known. But it's so, so good. So please, y'all, sign up, give it a try, and just allow yourself to just see what it's like, you know? It's so, so good.
And I think you bring up a good point too. Like, I feel like what people are like, oh, well, will one session really do anything? Yes, one session will do, like, we will. And that's why the sessions are 90 minutes because we really need the full 90 minutes to allow your body to do whatever it needs to do. So, yes, I guarantee you. I mean, I can't guarantee you anything. I'm not really supposed to guarantee anything, but I strongly believe that you can get relief, whether it's like just feeling a deep sense of relaxation, better sleep, or just feeling more alive and empowered, right? Like I think it's different for every person, but yes, you can get a relief in one session.
Can I give a
Yes.
testimony?
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
Yes, because it's so good, y'all. I'm
My
telling you, if
very
I had
first
it, yes, it's so,
My
so good.
very first session with Tati, I have so many issues, but the one I came with that time with her was my trauma when I got hit by a car. And it was obviously I could talk about the trauma to a therapist anytime, but at that point it wasn't the talking, it was the feeling. Like it had been what already almost 2 years or more, and I was still afraid to cross the street sometimes because it happened while crossing the street. So I was still like hesitant. Like if I saw a car coming, I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm not gonna cross. I'll wait. And I was jumpy, and it was to a point where I would be walking with my boyfriend or now fiance, um, And he would get upset, like, are we going or are we not going? And I'm like, this isn't safe because now I'm just being jumpy about it. And that's just going to cause me to be in hopefully not, but in another accident. So when I approached Tati about this, like we've had those 90 minutes, and I kid you not, after that session, I felt more empowered to cross the street. It felt very, ooh, why are the tears coming? Because
Body
had I
wisdom,
not
body
met,
wisdom.
yeah, had I not gone through that session, I think I'd still be jumping crossing the street. And I felt like I gained my power back. And I think I said that in our session. I was like, oh, I think I have the power to cross the street again by myself and not be afraid. But it was the trauma that was sitting in my body that I didn't know how to release. Who tells you that? Who talks to you about that? Well,
Yeah.
Tati does. And she makes you like comfortable again. And it gives you that hope of like, oh, I can do this again. That trauma can be manageable and I can control it while I'm crossing the street. So yes,
Yeah.
that's my
Oh,
testimony.
Lupe, thank you so much. And I also just want to share that Lupe was the inspiration for the name of my podcast because literally after I met with Lupe, I remember she was telling me that she felt like Wonder Superwoman or Wonder Woman. You said something. You felt like so strong and empowered. And I remember I had put something on Instagram of like she is resilient and because I was like, "That's exactly what happened after your session. You were so resilient. You were created that resiliency, and you were literally the inspiration for the name of my podcast. Like, the name of my podcast is She is Resilient because of you."
I remember you told me that. Oh, because we are resilient. You know, our bodies are like I knew that, but I didn't know it to my capacity with trauma. Like I know the resiliency from a health perspective. I didn't understand it from a trauma. So to me now I'm just like, "Oh my God, our bodies are resilient in every capacity, everywhere." So you got this, ladies.
Oh, I love that.
100%. Oh my gosh. And just so you all know too, we're going to dive deeper on each and one of our, expertise, like what we do on a day to day. So it's so exciting because now you guys get a little glimpse of what we all do. And, but we're going to dive deeper. So be ready. And actually, I want to invite the guests too to ask questions.
Mm.
Please on this podcast or on YouTube, or if you're following Latinas in Transformation on Instagram, send us a DM with questions that you have for Lupe, for Tati, for me, because we're gonna really dive deep on future episodes on what Lupe does with her coaching business, how she serves people, what she's working on, and all the great stuff. And then same with Tati and myself. So yes, please, you guys, please, please, please send it our way. And also, we're still taking on celebrations. So if you have something to celebrate, again, this can be anonymous and all that stuff. Please go ahead and send it to us. I am going to actually tag our email on there because I understand that for some of us, we may not feel comfortable sending a DM or putting it on YouTube. But I'm going to drop it on our show notes so that way you guys can email us with your celebrations, what you want us to call you, to celebrate. And then if you want to share your name, that's totally optional. It just has to be your first, or it could be completely anonymous. So yes, we want to celebrate you all because I know, we're all doing amazing things. So no matter how small it may seem, it's still a win and you're worth celebrating. So I really wanted to just emphasize and remind us that we're still doing that. So
Can we
yes,
take this moment to just celebrate someone
yes, that's right.
today?
Great segue.
Yes.
Okay,
Do
we
it.
are celebrating Lupe because she is a fiance.
Yes, she's a fiance, y'all.
Fancy word over here.
Yes.
Yes, y'all, I am engaged. It happened on Valentine's Day. And I'm still on cloud nine. I'm like, what happened? Y'all, I couldn't sleep last night. I kept waking up and I was like, reliving the moment in my mind. And I'm just really excited and I'm happy to be in this new phase.
Yes, we're so happy for you.
Thank
We are.
you.
We're
Yes.
so happy. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Like we're so, so happy for Lupe. Y'all, I can't even explain it or contain it. So I'm glad she's showing off her hands. Just be mindful, listeners, that she's gonna be going like this randomly, just showing off the ring because she has
Wasn't
every
trying to
right to.
hide it.
Don't hide it. We want to see it.
my
Yes.
goodness.
Show it
I'm
to the
so
camera.
awkward. I'm like, what do I do with this?
No, you show it off, baby girl. You show it off to the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
ladies. Thank you.
Mhm.
No, of course. No, you are worth celebrating and the special moment. So keep being in cloud nine. Enjoy the rest of this like fiance era, and it's gonna be so fun.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, girl. Oh my gosh, ladies. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. And remember, y'all, to stay lit. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Lit Podcast. We hope this conversation has ignited a spark within you so that you keep embracing your journey.
Remember, transformation takes time, but every step brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review.
Let's continue this journey together. Until next time, stay lit and keep transforming.